I'll tell you what, there's a difference in this whole thing. There is, at a very elementary level,
Hello?
there are channels which are dedicated
एक second.
English to Hindi dub channels.
Hello?
Okay, so there is one channel in fact in that space which is UTV Action. Okay, which is basically focused around dubbing English films into Hindi. Okay, so that's only one single channel. But if you look at the other channels, which is all of us, so that's Max, Z Cinema, Star Gold, and Pictures, and say Movies OK. Okay, the 5 other movie channels. Almost 25 to 30% of everybody's FTC in the week, almost that much, okay, comprises of South Indian dubs. So South Indian dubs are a very, very integral reality of the composition of every Hindi movie FTC. And we have researched it, and there was a lot of resistance coming in from advertisers initially. Kya kar rahe ho? What is this? But trust me, and I personally believe in a lot of research, and we commission a lot of research for Max and for Mix, which is the other channel I handle. And I travel extensively for that, and also for IPL and all of that. And I'm talking about NC1 studies and all. Those guys completely and absolutely enjoy South Indian cinema. Okay, so they may not know who a Nagarjuna is or who Ravi Teja is. Okay, but they love the action. They love the way action is choreographed. They love the fact that there are hardly no songs. So all of us, I don't think there are any songs shown on any channel. Okay, they like the feel of the characters because they are larger than life.
Yeah.
They don't like the way the heroes look, but they love the heroines. Okay, they like the plots because they feel, and it comes out very strongly, that some of the plots are better than Hindi movie plots. Okay, so the whole, see, it's vendetta, it's revenge, it's about the common man coming up, triumphs. It's the classic underdog doing well. These are the plots that work, and these are the plots that work across. So very honestly, I think the language of Indian cinema does not change just because a film is being made in the South, or being made in Bombay, or being made in Hyderabad. And most of the films that do well are Telugu films, which are over the top cinema. Okay, Tamil films are not like that. Tamil films are by and large understated. Some of them are, but by and large it's Telugu, which is this blood and gore and violence and all that. Which is what works. The viewer doesn't mind, because by and large Indian cinema has the same moral values and the ethos and the family bonds, and everything else is virtually the same. The characters are bound differently, because of language reasons or geographical reasons, or the way the climatic conditions in that region are, or whatever. But otherwise, Indian films are Indian films.
Do the viewership for these skew towards the male?
Yes.
How much of females?
Movie channels by definition are male-oriented channels. Hindi movie channels by definition are skewed towards males. So if you look at your research numbers, then it's almost 60%. Unless you have, Chennai Express, which is very universal. Or if I were to give you a parallel South Indian example, then I did something called Magadira 2-3 months back. It's a massive Telugu blockbuster, and we promoted it as a proper Hindi film blockbuster, and it gave me a rating of almost 2 in the first cut. So that cut through all TGs, and it had these massive special effects and all that. It cut through everything. Anything that's well packaged, good looking, mounted well, and has edginess around it in the way the execution happens is acceptable everywhere. Which is good in a way, because people are exposed to a lot more than just your Bollywood kind of cinema.
But this trend is coming only,
Recent
3-4 years?
I would say around 5 years is when it started, but it's kind of picked up in the last 3 years. Yeah. See, it's also because acquisition of Hindi films has become so expensive.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so it's extremely virtually impossible to keep buying new films. Everybody has a budget and everybody has a limited budget. And you know, if you intend to buy, say, 3 or 4 top films, your budget will be over. So you can't buy more than 2 or 3 big films. Then you kind of have to keep. You know, there's another cost which you incur is your renewing of your library, existing library. So there's very little money left with you to keep buying new films.
Which Telugu expensive one?
I just got a quote of 10 crores from it.
No.
Yeah.
Earlier, how
Telugu,
much?
Tamil,
Tamil is not as much.
and the least would be Kannada.
Kannada is almost zero.
Not they are two into one.
Unless there's something like Makhi. Makhi was a Kannada.
No, that was Telugu, right?
Makhi,
Iga.
Yeah, that's Telugu, sorry. So I think there was a Singham remake in Kannada which did well.
So you have budgets for, apart from acquiring the Hindi movies that you also have to keep budgets for acquiring such.
It's one common budget. You can do whatever you want. I can buy 50 Telugu films and run the channel. So yeah, it's one, which is what I'm saying, that everybody will have to, we have to get real. The whole acquisition game has gone completely out of control. And the industry is virtually using the television industry, as bankers to them. We become bankers to them.
True.
So they're going and making films where they want, without any accountability in terms of and obviously it's a point that you can't have any rating accountability. But there is this huge issue of the kind of cinema that's being made, which is good cinema, which is very, very nice, polished, relevant cinema that probably works in multiplexes. But those films are not working on TV, and nobody is saying anything to that. Because the kind of cinema that's coming up today, you would love to watch it with your friends, with your husband or wives or whatever, and enjoy it in the coziness of a multiplex. Because the issues are very bold, the language is very bold, the display of emotions is very bold, the skin show is very bold. All of this is very bold, and it looks great in the theatre. But in a reality where almost 85% of India is yet a one TV household, where everybody sits together and watches TV.
You can't be.
You cannot watch a dirty picture. And so many other films. So that is the unfortunate irony of the situation that we are in. So good cinema is being made, but that doesn't work on TV. So someday somebody will have to wake up and say that, guys, please understand our reality.
That discussion hasn't happened.
The discussion hasn't happened because there is a bad demand. There's a crazy surge in demand for those movies right now.
On TV.
Yeah. But it's a business. It's a demand supply reality. I'm saying that someday, the day is not very far when these things will become a discussion point. Most of these films, they do well. Even a Chennai Express, they were 10 rating. The second airing came down to 2.2. It didn't even last through a 5 or a 6 or a 4. The longevity of the films, all the reasons that I just expressed, the content, the longevity of the films is down. It's all coming down.
Short, yeah.
Okay. On the other hand, you have a Hum Saath Saath Hai, or a Hum Aapke Hain Kaun, or a Suryavansham, playing out since the last 10 years, and yet delivering a 1 rating every time you play it.
Really? Even a Suryavansham?
Yes.
My dad watches it every time it comes.
Simply because of this one television reality. Simply because of this. No other reason. You can, certain kind of material you can watch at home, certain material you can't watch at home. You love it when you see it in the multiplex, in the comfort of a dark hall, where you know that nobody is watching you and you can enjoy whatever is happening. The minute you're with your parents and children and aunties and uncles, and which is what this country is about, you're gone, finished.
That is what was a little surprising when Ram Leela was there on Sony. None of the scenes were edited.
I'm going to make sure that when we put it on Max, I'm going to knock off at least 10 minutes of the film.
We thought that the movie would last only for 1 hour.
Yeah.
It's got a rating of 4.2. I just saw the ratings. Yeah, I completely agree with you. Ram Leela for me was a very offensive film. Very, very offensive film. It was a stunt film,
Yeah.
if you ask me. There were no emotions in it.
Yeah.
You know? It was a film made to make money. There was nothing natural about it. But I don't think it's going to last the rating reality for a very long time. See, a lot of these films, because of the fact that they are large box office grossers, and because they come on TV within 2 months,
Yeah.
you know, they work because the channels market the movies very well. Okay, there are full page ads all over. There's 20-25 days of promotion. So the excitement is there, the curiosity is there. But whether people will come and watch it again, see, the true taste of a film is people wanting to watch something again and again and again and again. There are certain marquee scenes or certain songs, certain situations, certain characters that you want to come and watch again. Otherwise, why would you see something that you've already seen? That is going away.
Yeah.
That is going away from films. But if you see the way the films are being made today, you work on a film for say 6 months, on the 6 to 8 months on a script, you get your actors, you shoot it tightly in 6 to 8 months. Okay, so within a year and a half, the biggest films are in the theatres. And the way the economics works is that if you are a really, really big film with a really, really big star, then you get 2 weekends of survival. If you are not a big film with not a big star, you get 1 weekend. So your maths, all your economics in terms of your returns have to come within 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If you miss the bus, you're dead. It's over, the film is finished. You know, something like Boom, you know, so much of publicity, so much of hype, did well, but today do you remember it?
We don't want to remember it.
Please don't acquire it.
Too late for you to tell me that, we've already done it. So that's what I'm saying, it's over. Economics was planned in such a way that you take 4,500 screens, jam it in 2 weeks, make your money, run away.
Yeah.
Go to a channel.
Because the multiplexes don't have time, that's another mafia.
Yeah.
Distribution is another mafia. Because if you're not a big production house, you don't get screens.
Yeah.
So the film is forgotten. The point I'm making is that even a Dhoom is forgotten. You know, it's such a big project. It's a 150 crore film. But it's forgotten. But a Diwar and a Sholay,
Yeah.
you know, is still recalled and remembered. Because films in those days ran for 25 weeks and 50 weeks, and they had a Golden Jubilee celebration in Minerva and 100-day celebration in Maratha Mandir. You know, so there's this pedigree, there's history.
Yeah, we don't have these days.
Or it's
Silver
2 weeks.
Jubilee.
They make the same money in 2 weeks that they made in 25 weeks. You know, or probably more, given the ticket rates and all of that. So the whole economics has shifted to something, it's very Hollywood. This is the way it works there. The TV deals today are constructed on the box office collections. If you ask me, there is absolutely no connect between these two realities. There is absolutely no logic of a 100 crore film doing well on TV. Nonsense. It may not. Milkha did 100 crores, it did dismally on TV. It opened to a 2.2 rating. It's the one of the finest films I've seen in the last 4-5 years. But it's never going to work on TV. I watched Highway last night. Very different, very unique, very multiplex. It probably won't even get a 1 rating on TV.
Yeah. To
Yeah.
watch it on TV, it's very slow.
That's the reality that these guys need to wake up.
Why do you say Milka did work? It's a family picture. It's a lot about inspiration.
No masala. No masala.
Yeah. When you sit with your family, you want comedy, you want masala, you want
There you are.
everything.
Yes.
But then now that you've understood that these movies really don't work well on television, you don't get the ratings.
Yeah. Why do
Why do
you
you
still
acquire it? Pay so much to acquire it.
There's a
okay,
learning
no.
for all of us, and I think all of us are learning very, very, very slowly. We should be learning a lot faster. There is also a worry about losing out certain kind of titles. Also, you must realize that when a film is announced and a film is being made, you don't get a drift of what the film is going to be about. You know, any large title, any big star, whether it is Dhoom or whether it is Salman Khan's Jai Ho, that they turn out to be what they turn out to be is not in your control in any case. But if Salman Khan has given 350 crore films back to back, then you assume that he's not going to put a wrong foot. You assume that he's going to kind of deliver another 150 crore film. But that doesn't happen because this is a creative business. Nobody can say that just because I'm a SRK or a Salman or Shah Rukh, whoever, I'm going to give you a 200 crore film. No, that's not possible. So it's very difficult to predict what the eventual film will turn out to be. Because on announcement, everything looks great. Great director, great setup, great producer, great music. So you learn with experience. So we'll have to let go of certain movies which may be good, may be bad, but that's something that we learn. We're trying to do that.
But the
But
channels will have to
but,
collectively come and say we're not going to pay so much
Yeah.
for acquiring
That
like that.
Yeah.
That will happen. Eventually that will happen.
When you lower the numbers of
Yes.
what you're...
yes.
For that, how
Right now
how
it's
will
because
it
of
be?
competition.
Yeah.
Yeah. Competition, and today the way the system works, even in the film industry, is that it's kind of governed by these 5-6 large heroes who basically run the economics of the entire industry.
Yeah.
And they are now asking for a large disproportionate share of the pie. And which is why the economics is going haywire. So films being made today are being made very differently. All kinds of deals are possible today, which weren't possible earlier. In the early days, you had your producer who had a financer, and the producer knew an actor, and that's how they worked, and he got a fee, a flat fee, and that's it. Today, the actor, which is why, because of the fact that it's kind of completely controlled by these 5-6 large male heroes, they want to be a co-producer without putting a penny in the film. They own rights. They have a share in the profits.
Yeah.
It's a very different deal being cut. And because of that, the cost is going up. And that cost is being indirectly being borne by all of us. So this correction will happen because it can't go on the way it's been going on. Because the kind of films that are being made now, that's not going to change because the kind of directors you have today are guys who are fairly evolved. They want to make their kind of cinema. Whether you look at Imtiaz or Anurag or anybody, Anurag Vasu or anybody else, they are world cinema guys, they are serious cinema guys who know, who are very, very affected by, they've all been to cinema schools, film schools and all of that. So they have a certain pattern and a certain conviction in the way to make films. Now, the truth is that those films don't work on me. So that's the bridge that we need to kind of connect on, which is not happening.
So what is your take on international movies dubbed in Hindi? They work to
I
that
think they're good
extent?
stunts. They will never get you a 1+ rating or whatever. They're very good stunts. They serve as a tadka, as a differentiator. But they can't be a staple diet. Otherwise, UTV movies would have been a 100 GRP channel. It's good stunting. If I'm watching, Surya Vansham for the 40th time, in a year, suddenly if I see Anaconda coming up next, it's a good deviation for a viewer.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Do you keep any kind of time slot for this, like a weekend?
Is there a pattern?
No, there's no pattern. We used to earlier,
Okay.
much before I came onto bikes, we used to, but I've scrapped it. It needs to be a surprise.
So you can have a regional at prime time also, in the afternoon also,
So you could do
anytime.
that when you were in a 3 or 2 channel scenario. in a genre. Then you have your dedicated audience coming to view a dedicated slot. Because there were only 2 channels in the game or 3 channels in the game. Today when there are 10, 15 plus channels in every genre, you can't be so definitive. You have to keep surprising your viewer. You have to keep kind of getting him around unusual times and all of that. Otherwise, today the bandwidth is very limited. The viewer is spoiled for choice. 9 o'clock in the night, you have the remote in your hand. You have sports channels, movie channels, music channels, news channels. What do you goddamn watch? So
international movies dubbed in Hindi, what do you think? What time slot basically should do?
probably evening and if it's a great big film, then probably prime time.
Like Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
Because,
probably newer films. I'm saying
No, but
2012 or disaster.
Yeah, even there, no romantic films or are
Nobody plays
comedies.
romantic films.
Not even comedy.
Because the dub sounds very silly.
True. Not even So it's only the action movies,
It's only the action films or
thriller
disaster,
movies.
thriller, creature flicks as we call them. Snakes, lizards,
Harry Potter.
bats, all of those things. Movies which basically don't need too much of intellect from a non-English speaking viewer
To understand us.
to understand, and who basically gets fascinated with the visuals that he's watching.
Do you have a particular target audience for international movies being dubbed into Hindi and regional films being dubbed into Hindi?
Which is why the selection of international films is also very specific to
yeah.
creature flicks, action and disaster, very clearly.
For-
It's Rocky, Rambo, Anaconda, 2012.
During the past years, the Chinese samurai films
Oh, yeah.
Chinese
used to work.
action.
Again,
Yeah,
all your Shaolin films and all.
Sure.
Plain action. These are 20-year-old films, 15-year-old films. But they do well. They do well. Again, I'm saying you don't need to apply your mind as a viewer. You're coming in for your quotient or your dosage of high-octane action. You get it and you're gone.
These movies are not even aired for maybe TRPs, it's not.
No, of course, everything is there.
So, but you're saying it doesn't get more than one.
Yeah, so what happens is that you can't always have your 1+ films on the channel because nobody has that kind of bank. So these are, what we call them spine titles. They give you an average of anything between 0.4 to 0.8.
How many movies do you have currently in your bank?
We would have probably a little more than 1,000.
Across all different English,
Yeah,
Hindi languages put together.
But a lot of films come with a large bundle. So we could have a bundle of say 25 films, of which 3 or 4 could be decent, 20 could be complete trash that I'll never run ever. It could be movies of the 50s, 60s, old films, really, really old black and white films. But that's the way selling happens.
But you're not going to ever put it on air.
I can't. It doesn't make sense.
Then why keep it?
Because they come in a bundle.
Okay.
It's sold by the aggregator in a way that
So you don't have
everybody's out to squeeze you. So
Yeah, but it doesn't bother them that they're never going to be ever seen
doesn't
on.
matter. Doesn't matter.
They've got the money, no? What else do they want?
इधर भी aggregation होता है.
The buyers don't
You don't have
get
a
together
choice.
and
You don't have a choice. Because these films have been bought by aggregators way back 10-15 years back. So they always sold in bunches.
what portion of your bank would be?
But if you look at even if you look at say the way Yashraj sells a film, or UTV sells their films, or Balaji sells the films, or Karan Johar sells his films, it's always in a bunch of 6 to 7 films. Because today everybody is making a catalogue. But Karan Johar used to make 2 films in 3 years.
Yeah.
Today, at the beginning of the year, he says, "Boss, I'm giving you 6. I'm giving you 7." So he'll probably direct 1 in 2 years, but he's got this whole bunch of
Production.
directors who work with him. Siddharth Malhotra, Shagun Batra, all of these guys who will make these small films for him. But if you want that one big Karan Johar film, you have to buy these 5 earphones.
It's like TV aggregator selling only. You want to buy big channel, you take all my other small channel.
Yeah, so with Doom you get your Beethoven also. There's only way to do. Otherwise, nobody who's going to buy those smartphones peacefully. Nobody.
But then those movies you're getting almost for free.
Nothing. We are not in the CS.
so
They are
you
not in the
pay for
CSR
that.
business,
It's bad. Yeah.
So that means the actual rate you're paying for that one movie is much lesser than you paid for.
No, I didn't get you.
You're paying for 6A, but you're only going to be using 1. 5 of them
No,
you're
I
never
will
going
use
to
them. I'm saying, no, I'm just giving you an example. I will use the newer films obviously. But I'm saying this is how everything is sold. Whether it's an aggregator or whether it is a Karan Johar, there's no difference anymore. I can't pick and choose. That's the point I'm making.
Yeah.
Say, this is my catalog and I'm going to take 3, it's not possible. Take all 6 or leave it.
The thing about music is also that anybody has music now. If you want to hear it, if it's 4 minutes, you go onto YouTube and you can hear it, you download it on your phone. So what is the audience for television viewing where you have to sit and watch it on the
Nobody
way?
sits and watches it. Like, I will give my example. Every day in the morning that I
You
get up,
switch it on
I
and you keep
turn
it.
on the
Switch it
TV,
on.
I keep listening to
That's-
music.
You watch a
and
couple of songs or you
Yeah.
come back and see something that you want
Yeah,
to see.
that I'm not
And then
seeing
you do
this.
your regular work.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's specific times, early in the
That's
morning,
early in the morning,
evening, say.
mid-afternoon, say 4 to 6 or
Tea
something.
time.
Tea time. And then late in the night, if I'm playing some retro music, and
Yeah.
I have a slot which is called Rena Miti Jai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a massive, really popular slot.
Yeah.
You know, people come back and watch retro from 9 to 12 in the night. But Bollywood is the only song that sells, guys.
Yeah.
You know, you can quote me from wherever. Nothing else works. We've tried everything. Nothing comes close. Nobody knows anything about Coke Studio. If you go to any research outside of Bombay, even if you go to say a Virar, okay, Coke Studio के बारे में नहीं पता है किसी को. It's a very sad reality, but that's reality. Whereas Bollywood is a sound they've perfected over 50 years. They know what works. They've been at it since 50 years. This whole Andhra Mukhra thing, they have perfected it. It's an art that they have perfected. You know? And I think even from the way songs are picturized to all the moments and colors and glamour and everything that comes through, Bollywood songs are right up there in terms of music sound.
But what's the differentiator between all these music channels
Yeah.
that exist now?
Everything.
That is the sad part, because and this is something that we, and I in particular, was very peeved about when we set about launching Mix. You know, all these channels basically were trade channels. Okay, so when I say trade channels, we basically ran free plays. Free plays is a 60-second clip that you get of a song, of a promotional song, 15 to 20 days before the release of a film. Okay, and you don't pay anything for it. Okay? So they played a lot of free plays, and they played trailers.
Yeah.
Okay, and they ran advertising as much as 25 to 30 minutes in an hour. So these were the 3 things that you saw on the music channel. And then randomly you saw some animated cartoon character interacting, talking, you know. Then again, 3/4 of your screen was gone with some script, with some messaging in the air, you know. So there was no sanity left in the entire business. Okay, there was hardly any music, there was no musicality in music channels. You could be up at 6:30 in the morning, you switch on your TV and you could be watching Sheila Ki Jawani. You know, that's bizarre because that's not what a music channel is supposed to be. So these are corrections that we kind of made when we launched Mix. You know, so I don't know how many guys remember, but I had a black and white campaign when I launched, and we had commoners singing a song.
Yes.
You know, I made some 32 creatives, and we had common people, you know, like
Humming
you and me,
their favorite
humming
songs.
2 lines of
Yeah.
their favorite songs. So we said, you know, mood and ek, music channel ek. So you could be in any mood, but music is a soother. There is music for every mood. You know? So what we then did was that we departed the entire play out, depending on the mood of a person. So in the morning you would be in a different mood, to the time you went to office, to the time you came back, to the time you went to sleep. So we kind of, you know, charted different kind of sounds and different kind of music according to the, we mood mapped it. Okay, we did that. Then we restricted the number of free plays that were played. Okay, to just 10% or 15% in the entire hour. Everybody else was at 45%. Okay, we went and bought more music and put more variety than anybody else. And so the other call we took was that whatever we do, whatever interstitials we do, okay, we will do it musically. So we won't play movies like some channels did. We will not have animated cartoon characters talking rubbish. Okay, we will, whatever we do, we'll do it musically. So we got something called solos where a singer comes, sings 2 lines.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So these are things that we did, and thankfully after digitization, when we got shelf space, it's now 13 weeks in a row and we are the number 1 channel, 3.5 months. But for that, there was a lot of sacrifice. We restricted advertising time, and everybody was doing 30 minutes, I was doing 15, 20 minutes. Free plays. I mean, I had music companies on my head threatening me at times that we'll cancel your deals and how can you, because we really hit the business hard. The whole idea was to give us a pure experience to the viewer. He's not coming to watch your goddamn free plays. He wants to see 10 different songs in that hour.
Yeah.
He wants to see a mix. He wants to see variety. So these are things that we've tried to do, and thank God, touch wood, we seem to be now heading in the right direction, because now there is a proper 30% gap between us and competition. But those calls, I'm saying, had to be taken. So this is the way to move, I think. You need to evolve. We lost business. I still do. But my sense is that eventually, I'll probably be in a position to ask for a premium. Because I'm reaching out to more people. I'm reaching out to 30% more people than my nearest competitor. I'm reaching out to a better quality of people. I'm leading in all TGs. A, B, C, D, E, 15 to 34, 15 to 24. But one has to put a lot on the sacrifice table for that. So that's the way I think even movies will evolve. We will get fair pricing going someday when the industry realizes that it's not making sense beyond the point.
What's the kind of increase you have seen in version since you changed?
Mix. Massive. We started with a base of 12 million viewers. Today we are at 55 million viewers, more than anybody else.
After you made those changes?
Yes. More importantly, digitization in phase 2 of DAS helped us because we got shelf space. We always had a lot of critical appreciation, but we never had the numbers. But DAS 2 helped us to get space, get reach, get visibility. And once that happened, honestly, we haven't looked back. Just kind of ramping it up.
So, digitization phase 3, 4 will...
My God. Too much. My sense is it's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy. I think we haven't really seen, as an industry, we haven't seen the benefits of DAS 2 also. While, yes, some of us smaller channels have got placement and have got visibility, but the larger monetary benefit of getting more declarations, I think hasn't happened at all. The whole thing of carriage fees being stopped hasn't really, become a reality. I think the MCO versus the MSO max needs to be sorted out first before anything happens, any large change happens.
Yeah, that's very important.
Now that will take another year. So I don't think DAS 3, I'm sure it will be implemented because it's a government mandate, but it's going to be tough.
For benefits to
But
flow
then
will
just
take-
seeding of boxes, they are saying we have seeded so many boxes, so we are digital. That's not enough.
No, you
So many
need
other things.
a subscriber system.
Yeah.
You need to understand who wants to watch and who's paying for what and all of this. So the whole maths needs to come into play. It's going to take a while because the way it's happened, it's not happened in the most ideal way. It's happened in fits and starts. That's not the way to kind of go about it. It should have been more regulated. The government should have been a little more tighter. With the MSOs in turn should have been a lot more tighter with the HCOs. Somewhere I think a lot got lost in translation. And then we have elections. So nobody wants to do anything else but focus on that. So it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough one. Because advertising is not growing, it's not going to grow beyond your 10-15% every year. Okay. But the investment plans that companies have and people have are all based on subscriptions growing. So eventually that has to come into play. And it's about almost a 25,000 crore industry. So,
Once digitization happens, we're already seeing some trends. The MSOs paying for on a per subscriber basis.
it's not happening the way it should have happened.
Yeah, but I'm saying there's some beginning.
15%, yeah, it's
So if that trend,
but subscriber management systems need to be there for that.
but how will the situation be for smaller channels like Sony?
Smaller channels will gain.
I mean,
Smaller
subscribers
channels
will have to subscribe for that.
Yes, absolutely.
So how will you
Which is
ensure
why,
that?
which is why these things come into play. Which is why the niche that I make now for the channel, the value that I put onto my channel in terms of quality, okay, in terms of differentiation, whether it's a max or a mix, the way I market it, the way I create mind space in the mind of the viewer, all of this will come into play when the choice is being made. Because today, if I'm going to say, let's say, have a list of say 10 music channels, and I'm going to probably watch only 3. I will not need the other 7 because they all look the same. They all play the same songs. But if mix shows a different kind of commitment, or a max shows a different kind of commitment, then I will get that tick in the box. And which is what we need to worry about for something that's going to happen probably a year and a half later.
How big is the music television?
The music
segment?
business?
Yeah.
Music business in terms of what TVTs, in terms of GRTs, revenues is less than, it would be around 500 crores.
This is all languages music put together only?
No, Hindi. I'm not sure about all.
And viewership?
Viewership, again, that's the sad part. Because if you look at the share of viewership in the overall pie, we're talking about in the Hindi space, okay, which is the large space that all advertisers are chasing. So that's clearly dominated by the GECs. I think they are at around 38% of market share. Okay. Followed by the movie channels at 14%. Okay. The third in the line is the music genre. But the rates that we get from advertisers are much lesser than even say the Hindi news guys. You are like, at 3.5%, music is at almost 5.5%. Because of the fact that we've completely commoditized it, there's no respect for what the genre delivers.
So how long do you think it will take for mindset to change?
I can't speak for everybody, but I have tried to make the change, and I'm seeing that work. I'm seeing that work. That
In
clearly,
terms of revenues also.
yes, it will start building up. Because I will now start asking for a price which I deserve. But it's you have to grin and bear it. So I'm going through that grin and bear phase right now.
What about music genre? Sorry, movies genre? Has that changed?
No, that again, is not growing the way it should. All of us in the business have GECs also, which is why we can afford to buy those films. Otherwise, standalone movie channels you can't even touch at home. Any other subscription.
So that's the thing, you can put it on GC and then get it on to...
Share it with GEC.
Yeah.
Get your, between this 5 to 7 years that you have the rights, you amortize it over the last 6 months.
Star, Z and Sony, only 3 of them. Colors doesn't have its movie channel. That's why they don't get so many premiums also.
Which is why they sold off the library to Star. They were supposed to launch a movie channel, but
They were supposed to launch a movie channel. Then they launched Indies.
so they sold off the library to Star.
The big budget movies cost a lot. So is it a profitable proposition?
Over 6 years and 7 years, it is sometimes
It takes that long.
The amount, if you write the amount over so See again, historically, in terms of advertising sales also, the movie genre has been undersold. So that, these are corrections that should have happened many, many years back. Despite it being as much as 14% of share, the difference between the GC rate and indie film rate is 5 times.
Even for those big big budget movies or big time.
For the big budget movies, it's a bit less, yeah. But yes, there is, in absolute selling terms, the difference is massive. It's like a sign from the gods. When the calling happens, you have to leave everything that you're doing. Okay, now I've given away the campaign. I've given it away to you guys. Agency came with the creative. In fact, we called for a pitch this year. No, it's not GWT. It's
last year?
Last year was GWT.
This time it's Havas.
Yeah, so we called for a pitch this year because we kind of knew that it was going to be difficult to go beyond what we did last year. And you kind of get a feeling that your agency is going to come up with something probably along the same lines. So we anticipated that and we called for a pitch. And I think after multiple meetings that we had with agencies beyond Havas and JWT, we finally chose a route. This was one of the routes that was recommended. But the brief to everybody was the same. We need to scale up the entertainment quotient. There has to be a call for action. So these two pegs are always a constant in any IPL brief. Call to action, entertainment quotient. So it needs to be engaging, it needs to be entertaining, it needs to be fun-filled, it needs to be riveting, it needs to cut through different target groups very, very clearly. Okay, can't be very male-dominated, can't be very male-centric, can't be very female-centric, can't be very children-centric. Okay, so it's a tough brief. It's not a very easy brief. Otherwise, these guys are used to very, very focused briefs.
Yeah.
This is my,
TG.
fair and handsome.
Yeah.
And this is my TG and this is what it needs to do. These are the values of my brand and these are the values that need to come through in my communication. So end consumer knows exactly that this is what I'm buying this for this.
True.
Whereas this brief is a little more complicated. We're saying, boss, this needs to appeal to a lot of people, it needs to be engaging, it needs to be riveting, it needs to be fun-filled and all of this. So it takes a lot of time. They come back with some crazy thoughts as well. Really, really silly thoughts. But it's like when you go through various filters that you literally, when you actually come through a campaign idea which resonates with everybody in the room. That's another important thing. It needs to work for everybody.
How big is this team that decides on the campaign?
It's a lot of people in the marketing, virtually the entire marketing team. Everybody has a say. We are a very democratic kind of company and everybody's been in the system, so everybody's views are on board. So like I said, it needs to appeal to most people. It's very important that it does.
But how difficult is it or easy it is to work with common people? They're not actors.
No, they're models, all of them.
Okay, they're not actors.
Oh, the casting is another long process.
Because you have
it's a lot of it is emotion based, a lot of it is nuance based. There's one wrong reaction, but what a character is feeling in your entire 30 seconds can go for a toss. One wrong casting and your creative is gone. So the casting and the nuances take a lot of time. We spend a lot of time on that. I personally am a stickler for casting. You have to get the right people. You have to get. They're not common. They're people who have done some work on that. Yeah, some of them are newcomers as well. But if they come out only if they fit the bill. Only if that look requires them to look the way they look.
because it's not that like last year you had around I think 10 people or so. There will be a group of people dancing along with Farah. But apart from that, the previous campaigns have had a huge number of people in the campaign, like the one that you had with the carpet.
Carpet was 3 years back.
Yeah, 4 years back.
Yeah.
And that with so many people.
So many. Tashrif Tokra was 2 years back. We shot in Ramoji Rao. Had almost 400 people in the campaign.
Exactly. So, getting those number of people for a 30-second
That was a
campaign.
60-second. Yeah.
This one would be?
So we're doing a series of around 5 30-seconders or 40-seconders. We know the final edits and one large 60-seconder. And then the same track, so there is an anthem track, like last year, that's been composed again by Vishal Shekhar. And we will then also have the extra innings music video shot on that. with the anchors and the commentators. So it all comes together as a package.
The anchors would be the same, the common.
We've got the girls back, so the boys are very happy. The girls are back. So Shivani and Archana both back,
Okay.
and Gaurav and Samir obviously.
Amazing.